If you're here in opposite direction, where your right hand is overhand and your left hand is under, size matters. Theoretically, you're finishing your Sparky special, you're here, your right hand is overhand, your left hand is underhand. You're gonna take your left hand, tap it on your back, so it's the only one that taps, right? And then you're gonna plane shift this down. Actually, maybe I'll face this way. So your right hand's over, your left hand's under, you tap your left on the back, you go here. And then this is what I was saying. As you turn left, you tilt as you're turning to get it into the horizontal buzzsaw. So you're basically plane bending it down. Yes. It is a simple bend, but what helps also is that as you're turning your body, so here, I'll face you now, or I'll face the direction that you would be with the audience, right? So your right hand overhand, left hand underhand. You're gonna tap the left, you bring this down, and then if you look at me here, what I do is I immediately start doing that, but as you start doing that, because you're turning with it, it looks very natural and it doesn't even really look like a bend. It's like you didn't even do anything is what it looks like, right? If your right is over, your left is under. You tap your left, you come into the buzzsaw, you come horizontal, then you're gonna move. Now watch, I'm gonna release and go into a corkscrew and then use the corkscrew. So if we ignore the transitions that got you to the horizontal buzzsaw, right? You're here in your horizontal buzzsaw. What I was suggesting is you could, at this point, go into like a long poi corkscrew and then take the corkscrew to go into that part of the sixth part. So you're here in your buzzsaw. You release into a corkscrew for a beat and then go into like that part of the cap. What's the best way to actually do it? I mean, you could take it out and release all at once. That would look something like this, where you are, this also depends on how many times you're wrapped around your hand, to be clear. If you're wrapped too many times, it would be tough to do this. So if you're here like this, your left one is below, right? So you have to get it above. But if you do it like this, where you go, right? So what I did was I have my left hand on top. As I flip it above the arm, I bring it back here on the in-spin portion. Right, so bum, 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 bum. Here's where you could cheat though, okay? If you keep it short, like your buzzsaw length, bring it into the cap and then release on the in-spin portion of the cap, that should work very, very cleanly. It's just, you aren't really gonna be in the cap for very long, right? Because you're doing the sixth part. If you're gonna do the thing that I suggested, where, because your left arm is on top, but it's under the arm and it's the one that has to do the figure eight. If you stand when you finish doing the turns so that you're facing your stage left again, when your left hand comes above like this, it's on the other side, so the audience won't see if the plane is crappy, right? So if you go like this, then when you get here, you plane break to this, then you come down to here, then you do the other cap, plane break up, then come down across the bottom of the pendulum, and now you're back where you started. So it's the top, okay, so it's a C cap horizontal, and then from the horizontal C cap, you break to the top of a four pedal, come across the bottom to the long arm pendulum, then you do the other C cap, break to the four pedal, and then just the top of the four pedal, then do the other pendulum across the bottom, and then you do the other horizontal C cap. I think what you said you did was you did this, you came to this, then you let it drop up, and then you went this way. Yeah, that totally works. That totally works. The point of the sixth part is to just go through those patterns, but not like I'm not trying to be prescriptive about what order makes sense. You do 3 of them in a specific order, and then you do the same 3 in the same order in the opposite direction. Not just because you had a long day at work, but there's not that much practice time between now and when you're actually doing the piece. If you wanted to, you could just stay in your sprinkler, right? So you could do this longer, right? You're here, you could do this longer, and then go into your sprinkler, and you could do your sprinkler a couple times short, then do it in a pirouette where you release like I just did there, right? So I'll show you from a different view, which might be more illustrative. So you're here, you come around, you come around, you come around. So I'm gonna come to the side here, come above, and then I'm doing the sprinkler, facing the side. Now watch, I'm releasing. That was it. It was that fast. I released as I came into the extension, and then I'm coming back into the sprinkler. And you could do that as many times as you want. What you could do is gradually go from, right, so you're in this, then you're gonna take that, go into your short version of the sprinkler, come around, do the extension. So now you're in long poi, and then you can do the long poi to the pendulums, and then you could do some sort of pendulums under the legs, walking to the audience, wrapping it up, any sort of, you could do any one of those things. And that's where I don't think you have a section in this piece where you're rubbing yourself with the fire, but this is a sort of an ideal section. I'm just saying there's a lot of options for you where you could do lower energy moves that don't where you're just literally, like the song is dropping out sections, you are lowering by doing, right? So you were here, and now you could go, you do the turn, then you could go to here. Now, okay, so now it's horizontal, but it's just pendulums. Then you could do this kind of pendulum, or you could do that float combination we had previously done, or you could do like little under the leg things, or like there's a bazillion ways you could just bring the energy down and allow it to release. But the thing I think might be the most awesome at that point is when if you come to this thing, and then even if you come to these, because I think these are probably easier than the float, you could wrap it around your hands and then do the rubbing, whatever, the body tracing with this, bring it out again, bring it back in, so you have time to let the gloves breathe, because they will be hot even though it's the end of the burn. And then you could actually do it to the end and bow, or put the poi up above your hands, right? So we did talk about that trick where you are grabbing under the poi and letting the metal rest on your hand as you bring it up, and then you could release coming down like that. It could be very dramatic and very gradual. So you could do this, and then when it's on the outside, this is the important part, when it's on the outside and it's coming in, that's when it'll do the wrap in underhand really easily. That could be any number of things there, right? And you can even cheat like this, right? So see how I have this where there's an inch here? Because you could still move that, which means the fire is not going to burn your hand, but it looks like you're holding it because the size of the fireball is going to make it bigger. Fireball is bigger than the head itself. Size matters, baby. Didn't you do this? Thread the spiral into it? I mean, you could do that too. You could. Yeah, okay, that's another option. I would suggest, since the 6-part isn't feeling easily accessible in this moment, replace it with something easier. I'm saying replace the 6-part with turns. Extend this, then do this, then do the pirouette. Then from the pirouette, you're going to come into some version of this. Then you can come into underhand if you prefer to do the underhand, thread the spiral. And then, whatever you want to do. This is the change I would make that gives you more space, but also makes it a more impressive ending, and also leverages moves that you already know. So you were here in the Sparky special, right? You were doing this, then I don't even know how many of these, but you ended this, where the right one's overhand, left one's underhand. Tap your left one, come into your buzzsaw, then keep this longer, move closer to the audience, do these kinds of trinity turns around, then turn it into a corkscrew, and turn against it or with it or whatever, but then you have more time, and then you can take that into the sprinkler. Although do better than I just did with my left hand. Since you're a lefty, you probably will. Okay, so here we go. We'll pretend. So 5, 6, I don't know how you got here, 7, 8. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Then you're going to do one more tap, plane shift it, come around, and then turn it into your corkscrew, and maybe turn the other way to not be dizzy. And also personally, I think this aesthetic in anti-turn looks way cooler than in turn. So if you just look at the difference between them, that's in turn. and then this is anti-turn. I think anti-turn has a cooler aesthetic. Your mileage may vary. Then you can bring it up into the sprinkler short, and then on the pirouette, you can release. You could do another sprinkler if you want to, and then do your plain, the plain break into your pendulum. And then here's what I did to make the transition really easy. I'm gonna turn around so that you can see it from the back. I'm in the pendulum like this, right? When my right hand is over at the right side, if you turn to the front, they're both in underhand. And then you can go into your underhand thread the needle. So you're in your pendulum. When your right hand is on the right side, not the left side, come to the front, then come into your thread, and then whatever you want to do with this. Don't be afraid to do these body taps with the fire, fast at the end or slow at the end, in addition to rubs. I mean, be afraid if you want to be, but I know you're not afraid because of the fire itself.